The tribunal chamber shimmered with sterile light, its crystalline walls refracting color into cold, shifting patterns. Mara Ellison stood alone in the circle of judgment, her breath shallow against the metallic air. The aliens' voices were toneless hums, layered like machinery in harmony, and their eyes, faceted and depthless, betrayed neither cruelty nor compassion. Before her, her son sat in a restraint field, translucent coils of energy locked around his wrists. He looked impossibly young, more boy than man, his shoulders trembling under the weight of silence. The presiding arbiter extended a limb of smooth chitin. Human Jonah Ellison. Probability of guilt in the death of Director Sval. 93.7. Under Article 12, verdict is binding. Mara's pulse hammered. You're condemning him based on probabilities? On algorithms? Her voice cracked, the sound raw in the echoing hall. You have footage, show it again. You try to help that creature, not kill it. Intent is irrelevant. Another voice responded, this one emanating from a crystalline sphere suspended overhead. Causality determines guilt. The director perished in proximity to your son's actions. Therefore, your son bears responsibility. Jonah looked up then, wide-eyed and hollow. Mom, he whispered, it was an accident. The restraint field dimmed to let him speak. His tone wasn't pleading. It was bewildered, as if the universe itself had betrayed logic. Mara took a step forward, ignoring the low hum of warning from the guards. He's 17. He doesn't understand your laws, your hierarchies, your... Silence. The arbiter cut in with the precision of a blade. Human emotionality is not admissible. She froze. Emotionality. They said it as if it were a disease. Around the chamber, alien diplomats observed from their translucent booths, murmuring in subsonic tones. To them, this was order, not injustice. Humans were dangerous, unpredictable, a statistical anomaly of empathy and violence. Mara remembered the last time she'd seen her son free. They had been on the observation deck, watching the comet trails over Rose Station. He talked about wanting to join the Science Corps, to study how alien minds communicated through resonance rather than sound. His voice then had been bright, full of the future. Now that light was gone, replaced by the stillness of something irreparably stolen. The arbiter's sphere pulsed once. Sentence. Cognitive erasure. Execution within one rotation. Mara's legs nearly gave out. She caught herself on the railing, knuckles white. You're not just killing him, she said softly. You're destroying him. This method preserves peace, came the answer. Human retaliation probability decreases when loss is abstracted from death. For a moment, no one moved. Even the air seemed to thin. Then Mara straightened, her eyes narrowing. You think you understand peace, she said, voice steady now. But you don't understand us. Jonah's gaze met hers, pleading, confused, desperate. She wanted to promise rescue, to shout defiance, to throw herself between him and their alien logic. But promises were meaningless here. All that remained was truth, sharp as the ice in her lungs. You should have killed him quickly, she whispered. A ripple of static passed through the arbiter's form. Explain that statement. She didn't. She simply stared, her expression unreadable. The silence lengthened until it became a verdict of its own. The guards moved in, disengaging the field to escort Jonah away. His voice echoed as they led him through the crystalline doors. Mom, please. Before was swallowed by the humming machinery of justice. Mara remained motionless. Around her, the alien council resumed its neutral chatter, as if a life hadn't just been erased in principle. She watched the lights fracture across the floor, the colors twisting into something that might have been beautiful once. Then she turned toward the exit, her steps measured, deliberate, her words still echoing in the sterile air. Somewhere deep within that cold machine of law, something ancient and human began to move. The first alert sounded as a minor anomaly, a polite chime in the security nexus of Rose Station. Commander Trell glanced at the display with practiced disinterest, his multifaceted eyes parsing streams of data faster than any human mind could manage. An unauthorized Terran vessel had exited slip space within restricted distance. No transponder. No response to hails. By protocol, it should not have been possible. Probability of threat? Trell asked. Low, replied the station intelligence. Single life sign detected. No weapons discharge recorded. That assessment lasted exactly 47 seconds. The vessel latched onto an auxiliary docking ring without clearance, its hull dark, matte, and utterly devoid of identifying marks. No insignia, no broadcast, just silence, pressing in like a held breath. Docking crews were ordered to stand down as security units mobilized, armored forms moving with mechanical precision through the corridors. When the airlock cycled, only one figure emerged. He was human, tall and broad-shouldered, wrapped in layered black armor that drank in the station's light. A hood obscured his head, and beneath it gleamed a smooth, skull-like mask, expressionless and pale. He carried a compact rifle across his chest, not raised, not lowered, held as if it were simply another limb. Ammunition belts crossed his torso with brutal symmetry. Identify yourself. Trell ordered through the comm. You are in violation of. I'm here for the verdict, the human said. His voice was low, calm, and carried without amplification. The channel went silent. Security teams advanced from 3 corridors, stun fields primed, lethal force authorized. The human did not change his pace. He did not take cover. He simply walked forward, boots striking the deck in an unhurried rhythm. The first squad engaged. Sensors recorded a brief distortion, localized electromagnetic interference. Then the feed cut to static. Trell's mandibles tightened. Route all surveillance to priority channels. The images that followed were precise and horrifying in their efficiency. The human moved through the station like a mathematical proof, every action deliberate, every motion economical. He disabled drones with single shots, severed power relays without collateral damage, and neutralized guard with non-lethal force that nevertheless left them unconscious in seconds. There was no shouting, no visible rage. Only method. He is not attempting to breach critical systems. An aide reported, confusion seeping into her tone. He is advancing. Trell accessed interstellar archives, searching for context, for precedent. Human military doctrine was vast, chaotic, contradictory. Yet buried beneath layers of classification, he found a term cross-referenced with emergency protocols and diplomatic contingencies. The translation struggled, then resolved. Winter asset. Further data unfurled with disturbing clarity. Individuals deployed, not in war, but in moments where escalation itself was the weapon. Operatives designed to end conflict by embodying consequence. Rarely activated. Never captured. Probability of station survival? Trell asked quietly. The intelligence paused longer than before. Unknown. The human reached the final security corridor outside the tribunal chamber. Automated defenses activated, gravity wells, kinetic barriers, sonic disruptors. One by one, they failed. Not explosively, but cleanly, as if switched off by a higher authority. The human stopped before the sealed doors and raised one gloved hand. I am requesting entry, he said. Trell felt something unfamiliar coil in his thorax. Fear was inefficient, his species taught, an evolutionary flaw. Yet as the station's systems continued to fall silent around that single, waiting figure, he understood the error in their calculations. This was not an invasion. It was a knock. He had learned long ago that names created attachments, and attachments clouded judgment. The designation he carried now was functional, nothing more, a sequence of letters and numbers buried beneath layers of clearance. When a message reached him, an appeal flagged, not for mercy, but for review, he did not hesitate. He read the transcript once, then again, stripping it to structure and fact. A 17-year-old human, no prior offenses, present at a riot, recorded attempting aid. Condemned anyway. That was enough. Activation always came with silence. No speeches, no commendations, only a door opening somewhere cold and remote on Earth. He equipped himself without ceremony, armor fitting like memory, weapons calibrated to restraint rather than excess. Violence was a tool, not an indulgence. His instructors had carved that lesson into him early, in frozen valleys where breath crystallized and hesitation killed faster than bullets. Emotion clouds. Ice endures. As he moved through the alien station, the doctrine guided every step. He mapped resistance, measured reaction times, chose paths that minimized damage. Fear followed him regardless, blooming among the station's defenders like frost spreading across glass. He felt none of it. His concern lay ahead, behind crystalline doors, where a verdict waited to be corrected. The tribunal chamber opened without protest. Inside, the arbiter and its attendants recoiled, limbs twitching in defensive reflex. The human crossed the threshold and stopped at the center of the room, lowering his rifle, but not relinquishing it. His presence altered the air, dense with implication. "You are violating sovereign judicial process," the arbiter intoned, its voice resonating with brittle authority. "State your demand." "I have none," he replied. "I have findings." He activated a hollow display, projecting streams of data harvested from the station's own archives. Footage slowed, angles corrected, assumptions removed. Jonah Ellison appeared again and again, not striking, not fleeing, but kneeling beside a fallen alien official, hand stained not with blood but coolant. Probability collapsed under scrutiny. "Your verdict was flawed," the human continued. "By our standards and by yours, once examined honestly." "Our system does not err," the arbiter said. "It does," he answered without heat. "It simplifies." For the first time, hesitation rippled through the chamber. The human removed his mask then, revealing a face marked by old scars and colder resolve. His eyes held no hatred, only focus sharpened by years of restraint. "The woman you dismissed appealed to Earth," he said. "Not for vengeance, for oversight." "What authority do you claim here?" the arbiter demanded. "I am that oversight." Silence settled, thick and absolute. Outside the chamber, the station lay subdued, its defenses inert, its corridors quiet. The human let the moment stretch, allowing comprehension to form. "You may proceed as you intended," he said at last. "Erase the boy. Maintain your illusion of peace." He paused, gaze unwavering. "Or you may release him, unharmed, and accept that you misjudged us." "And if we refuse?" The human replaced his mask, sealing away whatever humanity they might have mistaken for weakness. "Then Earth stops knocking." The arbiter processed outcomes at machine speed, probabilities fracturing under a new variable it could not quantify. At last, it pulsed once dimly. "The sentence will be suspended pending review," it declared. The human inclined his head, a gesture barely perceptible. Wise. He turned toward the exit, already disengaging, the cold purpose that had carried him here receding with the same discipline that summoned it. Behind him, the tribunal chamber breathed again, changed forever by the knowledge that some verdicts summoned consequences no algorithm could contain. The release order traveled through the station with visible hesitation, security fields unlocking as if reluctant to obey. Mara felt it before she heard it, a subtle change in the air, a loosening pressure that had sat on her chest since the tribunal. When the holding door slid open and Jonah stumbled forward, disoriented but whole, she crossed the distance in a heartbeat. She held him tightly, her hands shaking as she counted breaths, warmth, life. He clung to her as if afraid gravity might fail, his voice breaking when he finally spoke her name. She said nothing, knowing words were fragile things, and this moment required only presence. Across the chamber, the arbiter watched in silence. Data streams reevaluated human behavior, recalibrating assumptions that had once felt absolute. This reunion did not register as efficient or strategic, yet its impact rippled through the observers, unsettling in ways no weapon had been. Peace, it seemed, was not merely the absence of resistance. The human operative remained at the edge of the room, unseen by most, already becoming irrelevant by design. His task was complete. He observed the pair long enough to confirm what the data could not lie about. The boy's cognition intact, his future unbroken. That confirmation released the final tension from his frame. He turned away before gratitude could find him, before obligation could take root. As he moved through the corridors, systems reactivated behind him, lights brightening, gravity stabilizing, order returning with the discomfort of awareness. No alarm sounded now. No one tried to stop him. He was no longer an intruder, but a consequence that had passed through and left recalibration in its wake. At the docking ring, he paused only once, opening a secure channel to the tribunal chamber. Earth does not seek dominance, he said, his voice steady. We seek fairness. When you deny it, we respond. What are you, human? The arbiter asked, not with hostility, but with something closer to caution. He considered the question as the hatch cycled open behind him. A reminder, he replied. The vessel disengaged moments later, slipping away with the same quiet inevitability that had marked its arrival. The station resumed its routines, but none who had witnessed the event performed them quite the same. Protocols were amended. Probability models adjusted. Humanity's classification shifted within the archives, updated with a new annotation that defied simple metrics. Mara and Jonah departed the station within the hour. She watched the stars stretch as their transport accelerated, one hand resting protectively on her son's shoulder. He slept fitfully, dreams still tangled with fear, but alive enough to dream at all. She allowed herself a single exhale, long and trembling, then looked forward. There would be healing, there would be questions, but there would be time. Far from Row Station, within alien councils and quiet data vaults, a new conclusion spread. Humanity was no longer cataloged as volatile or primitive. Instead, a different term appeared, translated imperfectly across languages and minds. Deterrent civilization, a species that did not hunt first, but never failed to answer the final call.